Are you considering towing with your motorhome or camper, but you're a little bit worried about how it's going to work, how you're going to find places to park, gross train weight, whatever the heck that is? This video is for you. Hey guys, I'm Kat from the motorhome travel website Wandering Bird, where we share tips and advice for travelling the UK and Europe by motorhome, camper van or just by car. Today I'm answering a question from Adam, one of our lovely subscribers. He's got a deposit down on a camper van that he's going to pick up soon, fingers crossed, and he is thinking about taking his Vespa behind him on either a trailer or a tow bar on the back of the camper, but he's a little bit concerned about things like payload or what the pros and cons are of taking another vehicle with him. Before I answer that question, if you want tips and advice for travelling the UK and Europe in a motorhome or camper, hit subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell to be notified when I put out new videos. You can also head to our website wandering-bird.com, where we've got lots of tips, advice and some ebooks for you that you can download and start getting the answers that you need to plan your travels. So back to Adam. Many of you may know that we have two motorbikes that we tow behind our motorhome most of the time. However, on our most recent big trip, which was the Dolomites, Slovenia and Croatia, we chose not to take a trailer with us at all, so we just had the motorhome. So we have some decent experience of travelling both with and without second vehicles. So let's talk about the pros and cons that we've discovered about them. We take our motorbikes with us because we love riding our motorbikes. That's just part of the things that we enjoy doing. It's a hobby. It's the equivalent of us taking surfboards with us. If I could surf, I'd probably want to take one of those with me too, but I can't. I'm rubbish at it. But motorbiking, I haven't died just yet, so I'm doing all right with that. And we enjoy being able to park up the motorhome and go off and explore the areas and find some incredible roads. If you want to see some of our favourite roads that we've done on the bikes, Trollstigen in Norway was amazing. There's a video, I'll put a clever link to it somewhere. The Gorge Road in Italy, you'll have to excuse the video, it was one of the first ones I ever did and it's not particularly great footage. And also Jade filmed it, bless her, on the back of a motorbike, so it's all over the place. But you are driving through basically the side of a cliff. It's incredible. I want to go back and do it again. It was amazing. And then the Black Forest in Germany. My brain isn't working. Excellent. Let's film a video and my brain can't think of words. Yeah, so the Black Forest in Germany was also epic, and I will put links, if I can figure out how, to those videos there because they were all amazing. Now, yes, of course, the Black Forest and Trollstigen, you can drive in a motorhome, but they were really fun to do on a bike. The Gorge Road you can't. You couldn't do anything bigger than a sort of small car that goes through this cliff thing. So if we didn't have the bikes with us, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So that's the main reason that we go to the effort of taking our motorbikes with us. And I'll be honest, it is an effort because there are some massive cons for having a trailer with you. The biggest one of those is obviously the longer you are, the more everything costs. So ferries cost more, tunnel costs more. When we went up to Norway, those little ferries all through the island, yeah, they all go by length. So the longer your vehicle train is, the more everything is. That was one of our biggest things. The second one was obviously weight. Our second motorhome was way over 3.5 tons anyway, but that's something else you have to think about. Parking is harder with a longer vehicle. A lot of airs or sort of approved motorhome parking, they only have up to about 7 metres. You can probably get away with about 7.5 metres. But obviously if we're 6 or 7 metres and then you've got a 3 metre trailer on the back, you're not going to get in one of those spaces. Especially if you've kind of got, they have a lot of approved parking in Europe where you have a lake or a beach and then you have the big long bays and then you've got a road. So you can't just stick out because yeah, it doesn't always work like that. So then we have to spend longer trying to find somewhere to park or looking for somewhere with sort of a grass verge that you can back onto. Also, some supermarkets are a bit of a pain to park in. However, we've never had a situation where we've not been able to get to the shops. But you can just park down the road and walk back, but you know, it's nice to be able to park in it, but not always. You can't if you're a longer vehicle. The only place I think we've been really scuppered, but that, to be fair, wasn't down to the length of the vehicle, just because we were motorhome in general, was in the Dolomites. And they had this amazing cable car, but there was nowhere to park. Like, nowhere for a motorhome to park. It was all tiny, tiny little car parks and they wouldn't let the motorhomes in. There have been some occasions where we've been really, really grateful that we had the bikes. For example, when we were in Italy in the Italian lakes, not the Dolomites trip, a couple of trips before, we were trying to get into the laundrette, and you couldn't get the motorhome in it. It was a tiny, tiny little Italian town, tiny little streets. So luckily, because we had the bikes with us, we could sit the laundry on the back, we could go into the laundrette. And it was a lot easier to park as well. We tend to avoid big towns and cities, so we don't have to worry about trying to get our motorhome or us into the big town and city, but there are parking places, just like there are in the UK. There are parking places near tram stations or bus routes or train lines. So you can park on the outskirts and then get public transport in if you want to. We did once try to drive our motorhome with a trailer attached into the middle of Edinburgh. This was just after we'd done our Scotland road trip, and we didn't really think. We were stupid. We'll admit that we were utterly stupid, but having just spent 2 weeks exploring the wilds of Scotland and not having to really think about people, then suddenly we turned up at Edinburgh, like, let's go see Edinburgh Castle, and just drove in, and everyone's like, what are you doing? It was an absolute disaster. Do not do that. It was chaos. We got ourselves so stuck, and the policeman that we stopped, and we were like, where can we park? He's like, with a motorhome, you can't park in Edinburgh. There's nowhere to park. So most cities don't have motorhome parking, especially if you've got a trailer on the back as well. So don't do that. But overall, there have been very few situations where we have been totally unable to do what we wanted to do because we were too long. On the flip side of that, though, there have been very few situations where we have not been able to do what we wanted to do, or we would not have been able to do what we wanted to do if we hadn't had the bikes. So I think it depends an awful lot on how you use your motorhome and what sort of motorhoming holidays you want to have. For us, because we move so frequently between stops, we aren't worried about things like putting up the awning because we want to go to the shops, because we're moving all the time anyway. It's very rare that we'll stay in a campsite longer than 2 or 3 nights. If you prefer the sort of holidays where you go to a campsite, you park up, you put your awning out, you put your chairs out and let the kids run wild for a week, then I can completely understand why having to put it all away and go to a shop if there isn't one local would be an absolute pain, and you might not want to do that. And in that situation, I can see why maybe you want to have a second vehicle with you. I know a lot of people take push bikes for that reason, so that they've got a bike to go somewhere because they're parked up, or just because you enjoy biking, to be fair. But for us, because we are moving from air to air or wild camping spot or wherever, it's not such a consideration because we're always driving. Now, yes, there have been some garages, like petrol stations. We've never had one we couldn't get under, but they've been freaking tight. And with a trailer on, we've had to really look at the angles because some of them we wouldn't have been able to get out of because they have those silly little one-way street things. One option you can do, if you are going to stay somewhere for a long period of time, is rent a vehicle whilst you're there. So rather than having to either tow it or drive 2 vehicles down, I know some people do that, you could rent one while you're there and just use it for the days that you want to use it, and then hand it back to the rental company if there happened to be one somewhere nearby where you're staying. I think one of the biggest cons to having a trailer with the bikes on is it's one more thing to have to worry about securing. So that's something that was quite nice, to be fair, on the last trip, not having to worry about. Okay, let's talk about some things that you've got to consider when you are deciding whether or not to tow. The first is to find out what your vehicle weight is, your vehicle mass, and then what its towing allowance is, and then also what the gross train weight would be of the two together, and how much you are legally allowed to tow. If you have a full bog standard UK car licence, you are only allowed to tow 750 kilograms, which is the weight of the trailer and whatever you've got on it, and then your gross or maximum train weight, which is the vehicle that you're driving and what you're pulling, the combination of them is not allowed to exceed 3.5 tonnes. So if your motorhome is 3 tonnes and you want to tow 600 kilograms, you're going to be over the 3.5 tonnes, so you can't do that. And that's something that a lot of people forget. It's not just looking at the payload, you've got to look at what the gross train weight is of the whole lot combined. We'll get to payload in another video. I'm going to do that one next. You've also got to look at the towing capacity of the vehicle that you want to tow with, whether or not it's physically capable of towing the amount of weight you want it to tow. And also, and I didn't realise this, not all vehicles are capable of having a tow bar fitted. It's something to do with the chassis and the body, and I'm not even going to pretend that I know what, but I do know that not all motorhomes are capable of having a tow bar fitted. You've then got to consider the tow bar towing weight, especially if you want to put a tow bar rack and then put something like the Vespa on top of a tow bar rack. You need to make sure that the tow bar can take that amount of weight and that the vehicle can take a tow bar with that amount of weight on the back. So today's question, I'd like to know if you tow with your motorhome or camper van, or would you like to? For those of you who do, let us know what you tow and why you tow, or why you don't tow, why you don't take anything with you at all. If you want to find out more information about towing with a motorhome, there's a link in these video notes to our blog post about towing with a motorhome on Wandering Bird, where hopefully you'll find a bit more information that might answer some of your questions. If you have got any questions that you can't find answered, by all means, drop us a comment below and I'll do my best to answer it for you. I've also put a link in the video notes to our brand new motorhome buying guide. We've created a downloadable ebook that walks you through step by step how to choose the best motorhome or camper van for you, how to know what you're looking for, how to know what to avoid, especially when you can't go out and go around and look at some. The sorts of things that you need to be asking when you are going to look for, and there's also a huge checklist both inside and outside of stuff that you need to check before you buy and also when you collect, especially there's a time difference between the two. So if you're interested in that, if you are looking at buying a vehicle in the near future or even in the future, there is an introductory offer on that at the moment because it is a brand new guide. So grab it via the link below whilst you can at the introductory price before it's gone. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, by all means, please give us a thumbs up. You can also join our Facebook group. Again, the link is in the video notes. Please answer the questions so that I can approve you, because I need to know who I'm approving. So there are 3 very simple questions in there. By all means, go ahead and answer them and I'll get you in the group. I think that's all from me. I hope you're staying safe and well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.